Hey everybody, and welcome back to Split Couch Games. I'm Scott.
And I'm Ben.
And this is another podcast. This is our 19th podcast. We just figured that out. We're excited to bring you guys another one. So, a lot of you guys have subscribed from Ben's Skyrim mod stuff, basically. I think that's where a majority of our subscribers have come from. And so we're going to be talking about mods again. Couple different things though, or couple different topics, I guess. A different topic. I don't know.
You're having trouble with words,
I've
aren't
lost
you?
it. I've lost
today we are talking not about Skyrim mods, but mods of a different nature. I'm not even really sure that it classifies as a mod, so much as it is simply a fan project.
I consider mods fan projects in a lot of cases, but yeah, there's another one. There's another one recently that that got shut down that we'll talk about as well. That was a mod.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I mean, regardless, mods specifically are typically more geared towards content that is modifying an existing game, whereas part of what we're talking about is a fan creation, fan project that is a top-down version of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild that just recently got DMCA'd.
Yep. Nintendo was like, you're using our characters. No.
Yeah. And I'm sure that surprises no one when it comes to fan projects and that type of thing.
I was
specifically
like
those surrounding.
Surprised.
Why?
Like, very, 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 very little. Like there was just like a moment of it was like, it's so different than what Breath of the Wild is that I'm like, okay, maybe they'll let it slide. Like I'm not like,
but, I mean, sure.
They're like, to be clear, Nintendo is well within their right to protect their IP and everything like that. Like that's totally fine. There's just a little bit of me that I was kind of like hoping that they would let it go. Just a super small amount. We don't even have to. You don't have to tell me that I was crazy for that. I know. I just a little bit. But anyway, for those who don't know what the DMCA is,
I mean, I would have been shocked if they didn't do it.
Yeah, I mean that too. Like I said, it was just a super small amount. But anyway, so a DMCA is where a project is shut down because it's using, like the short of it is that a project is shut down. Yeah. So what happened was that the group, I think it was a group, might have just been one person, was making a version of the new Zelda game Breath of the Wild in Game Maker using 2D assets, and it was not a 100% recreation or anything because there's a lot of systems that couldn't be done, but it was called Breath of the NES, and it used the character names from Zelda. Like I believe like you played as Link.
Names, likeness, mechanics, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, it was the original Legend of Zelda, just updated.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that it got DMCA'd should be a shock to nobody.
Yeah, it's not really a shock. I was hoping that, because it was like, because I saw some footage of it and it looked like it was just a lovingly crafted game, and I was kind of just hoping that people would get to enjoy it, and they will still get to enjoy it because the creator is continuing the development of it, but with original characters and original storytelling and stuff. So
yeah, which he should have just done to begin with. And I mean, that honestly kind of partially makes me think, like, if he started it as a Zelda thing just to kind of get attention.
I was going to come to that later, but I guess we're going to hop into that now. It does seem like that was probably the case, because it's like, hey, I'm making the Zelda thing and everyone loves Zelda, so you guys should come check this out. Oh, you guys are enjoying this? Well, it's going to get DMCA'd here pretty soon, so stick with us.
But don't worry. I'm gonna keep it going. I'm just gonna, change the name and likeness of everything and tell my own story.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are going to love it, because you guys already love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is pretty much like kind of a scummy thing to do, but I do like. I'm gonna go off the assumption that he wasn't that, and he just wanted to make a fan project, and that's sort of where I want to like discuss is like, when does it cross the line of being a fan project and being a ripoff?
when it uses all of the existing mechanics that have already been established by previous titles. I feel like that's when it...
Is it the mechanics?
Well, pretty much. I mean, mechanics, name, likeness, anything like that, like, can be a fan project, but the moment it is literally just like, I am making a Zelda game, then it's crossing a line. Because, like, I feel like there's a difference between I'm doing a fan project of, you know, Pokemon, and it is a novel or something. Like, I you know, like fan fiction or something, I feel like that's a different thing. But, like, when games like, I don't even remember some of the popular ones that were recent, but there were a bunch of, like, more recent DMCAs on Pokemon games that were literally Pokemon games, just with, like, these fan-created Pokemon and other real established Pokemon mixed in. Like, it was telling a brand new story, it was in a new continent and everything. But, like, all of the assets and the mechanics and everything were the same. Like, there were still gyms, there were, you know, levels and progression and everything.
Can you really copyright game mechanics like that? Like, I think, like, there it sounds like the problem is that they put real Pokemon in there. And, like, reference the Pokemon
they
story.
used the Pokemon name and everything like that. And, I mean, like, you can't copyright mechanics, really, like...
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're calling something a fan game and you're literally just, like, ripping the mechanics and everything else,
sure,
it's no longer a fan game. And, well, I mean, it is a fan game, but if you're expecting not... Yeah, it's way beyond the line. Because, I mean, honestly, like, I don't even really think there is a realm where you can make a quote-unquote fan game and not be crossing the line. Because,
well, what if it's they just made a level from a game, like they made like one dungeon from, or not, what are they called, dungeons, caves, Zelda, but like,
dungeons and or temples.
That's the word. What if they made like one temple, like a recreation of a temple in a Zelda game? Is that too far, or is that just a homage?
I mean, at that point, I feel like it's more of a proof of concept than anything else.
But like, what if it's not? What if they just did it, like... What if they were in game design school and it was just, hey, make a level from your favorite game, like copy a level.
Well, I mean, then at that point, it's a school assignment, and this...
But then they released it to the public. Then they're like, here, this is what I made in school.
Again, it's a school project at that point.
So,
I mean, I feel like it crosses a line when it starts becoming a complete game.
Okay.
Like, it crosses a line when, any money is exchanged whatsoever. Whether it is donations or people are buying a license, that is crossing a line.
Okay.
And
because then you're profiting from other people's work.
Exactly. And it's also crossing a line when it gets to the point of essentially becoming a complete game. And the only way becoming a complete game could not potentially cross a line is if you're, like, bringing it into a completely new realm. You know, like if you took, you know, like Zelda or whatever, but instead of, like, The Legend of Zelda, it used all the characters and it was... you were playing as an Octorok or something, I don't know. I mean, like, that, I feel like wouldn't be crossing a line too much, because, like, I don't know. But, I mean, I feel like when you are making a pretty much straight-up copy, you know, you may take creative freedoms where appropriate, you know, like you may add new Pokemon or create a brand new story or something for your Zelda game or something like that. That part doesn't really matter a whole lot. But when it nears completion, like it is a start to finish complete game and not just one dungeon or, you know, like one small section. I don't know.
Okay.
No, I feel like you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So I'm curious. So does that go along? So the reason why DMCA takedowns happen is because companies have to protect their IPs or else they lose their copyrights on them and their trademarks.
I don't think they necessarily lose them.
Well, they
so
lose
much as it is,
they lose the ability.
They lose
to,
the credibility of protecting it, essentially.
Well,
so like if someone did legitimately like steal stuff later on, and then the court finds out, well, there was this other thing that maybe was less severe, but was still an infringement, and you did nothing, then they could use that essentially as, I guess, like proof that they don't care enough so that this other thing can go on.
Yeah. So I'm curious, is that like, are you factoring that into your completionist thing, or because that's kind of like I'm kind of where you're at. I'm trying to figure. I don't know exactly where the line is, so I'm kind of where you're at, where like if it's just like one level, like it's just a homage, and then
well, I mean, because if it's just one level or something like that, then I feel like you're doing that with intent. Like, it's no longer you're trying to make a fan game as much as it is that you're trying to prove that you're capable of doing something. So it's more of like a resume piece or something like that.
Well, on that note, is it okay to ever like distribute that at all? Is it okay to put it on a website and be like, you can download this fan-made level I made? Is that okay, or is it...
I mean, again, it kind of depends. Like, if there are any like donation links set up or anything like that, anywhere even remotely close to that link of you can download it here, like even if it's like on the same web page but on a completely different tab or something, I don't feel like that's appropriate. Because like realistically, or even simply from a legal standpoint, like there's no way to discern where that donation money might go. And if you're using that donation money to fund any sort of illegitimate production of a, of an established franchise, then it's crossing a line. But I mean, like, if you had a, like, hey, I made essentially a copy of Tetris, you can play it here, and you're using it to prove, hey, I know how to code, and blah-de-blah-de-blah, then that's different. Because, there are people that do that, and, like, there's the guy who's a game designer, and his business card is literally, like, a card, and then you can flip it over on the back. There are buttons, and you can play a quick game of Tetris. I think that's perfectly okay, but, like, the moment, like I said, you come to a more than a little bit of a demo or anything like that, or the moment money starts exchanging hands, again, be it donation, sponsorship, it doesn't matter. That's when it crosses the line.
Yeah. So that brings up the next question that I had for you, is the Red Dead Redemption map remake in Grand Theft Auto 5 called Red Dead Redemption 5, where it's a single player mod, and it basically just turns the entire Grand Theft Auto map into the Red Dead Redemption map. It got DMCA. It got the development on that was stopped by Rockstar, which
that
should be worth noting is that for those who don't know, Rockstar develops both Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. I feel like that is a complicated issue for multiple reasons.
Well, that's why we're here, Ben, to discuss complicated things.
First of all, I think it was the right move by Rockstar to DMCA that, and that is because without knowing anything about the mod, because that would obviously play a big role, because if it was just the map, then I think that's kind of irrelevant. Like, yeah, sure, that's fine, like, in my opinion. But first of all, as far as I know, I don't think modding is actually officially supported by Rockstar. I think it's just a thing that happens and they don't really care, but it's not officially supported.
Okay.
Because I mean, like,
I'm not
you can
100%
obviously
sure on that, because I know that they have a lot of mods for PC.
Well, yeah, but I don't think they've ever released any mod tools or anything like that. Because, I mean, you can mod any game, really. It's just how easy it is and to what extent you can mod it is often determined by the developer and what type of engine they use and all that kind of stuff. Because, I mean, like, there's so many Skyrim mods and everything like that just simply because of the fact that Bethesda releases modding tools, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, all of that being said, like, without knowing anything about the mod, like, I don't know anything whatsoever, I feel like DMCAing that mod was a good call on Rockstar's part, purely for the reason that they don't want people experiencing any sort of, like, massive next-gen type of experience when it comes to Red Dead Redemption, because the next game is coming out this year. Like, I could totally understand why they would do that. And I like, because I feel like it would be kind of like if you... Like, if Bethesda games weren't supported with mods very easily, I feel like the equivalent would essentially be taking, like, let's say, you know, like Elder Scrolls 6 was coming out, and let's say it was taking place in Elsewhere, you know, the home of the Khajiit.
Yeah.
I feel like the equivalent would be looking at those locations within the Elder Scrolls Online and then building a mod inside of Skyrim that was basically all of those locations. I can understand why a mod like that would be stopped. Obviously, since we're talking about Bethesda, that would probably never happen. But, you know, again, like, if we were in a world where Bethesda didn't support mods as much as they do, then I could see that happening. Because they're trying to prevent people from essentially capitalizing on the hype surrounding, you know, what is one of their other franchises, and taking advantage of essentially an area or maybe even an experience that is going to be coming out officially at a later date.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't... Oh, wait, here we go. I'm trying to look and see what mods are supported by Grand Theft Auto, if at all.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't think they've ever really officially released any sort of mod tools, but they also don't super care.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It looks like they appreciate mod support, but they do not... Yeah, they don't specifically say it's cool.
Yeah, like they're kind of middle of the road. Like they don't want you to feel like you can't mod the game, but they don't want to say like, hey, go ahead and mod it to your heart's content.
Yeah, and they don't want... They're against modding in the online portion of the game.
For sure.
Cheating.
Yeah.
Turns out they don't like people cheating. Weird. But yeah, no, I think that it's interesting that they DMCA'd just what amounts to a basically graphical update. Like, granted, like, it is just like it is the map of Red Dead Redemption, but it's really just graphical mod. Like, that's interesting, but again, like, it is because it was so accurate, and like you said, definitely my first thought was Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming out. That might confuse some people.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, and I'm sure that was part of it, because I mean, I never really played the first Red Dead Redemption. So I don't know if it's the exact same experience as what, you know, Grand Theft Auto is, just like a different time period, essentially.
yeah.
But from what I've been able to gather, it's basically the same thing. You know, big open world. You can kind of do whatever you want. Except, you know, Red Dead Redemption is in the Wild West as opposed to, you know, modern times. And I feel like part of why they went ahead and DMCA'd that one is probably because if they allowed the map to go through, then there would be nothing that they could do to stop people from essentially modding in a bunch of Wild West weapons and outfits and horses and all that kind of stuff. And at that point, like, you've essentially created a free version of the game that they're going to try and release later in the year.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like, the map isn't going to be the exact same, but I feel like the point remains, you know?
Yeah.
And, I mean, again, like, I don't want to say that, like, I'm against the modding community or anything like that, because, I mean, obviously, I do videos on Skyrim mods and that kind of thing, but I feel that realistically, when it comes down to it, like, we have to respect the wishes of the publishers and developers of the games that we are trying to modify and or create fan games of, because in the end, it is their intellectual property. Like, all we are ever really doing is borrowing creative rights. And even then, when it comes to modding, like, we don't have any creative rights as much as it is that we have permission to modify the game.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, even Bethesda, like, is, at least as far as console mods are concerned, more so specifically with Xbox than PlayStation for obvious reasons, they don't allow copywritten material to be in any of the mods. So, like, there's no way you would be able to make, like, a Master Chief armor set mod for Fallout 4 on Xbox. Like, it just will never happen. That'd be so cool, though. Yeah, and
so cool.
I can almost guarantee you it probably exists on PC, but just not on Xbox.
PC Master Race, bitches!
But, like, because of that, like, I don't really know how else to, like, awkward relationship, I guess, that the modders have with the developers, like, you kind of have to just be like, okay, I mean, you know, you're the boss, essentially. Like, you don't have any other option, really.
Yeah. They're allowing us to do, they're allowing the community to do what they do.
Yeah.
And I mean, accept it. Don't rock the boat.
Yeah. And I mean, I know that there are a lot of people that are probably like, well, you know, I bought the game, I should be able to do what I want with it and everything. And first of all, you're wrong. You didn't buy the game. All you did was buy a license to play the game. And technically, the developer could revoke that at any point for whatever reason they deem, because they can.
That's a whole different topic.
Yeah, that's an entirely different topic. And I mean, like, even the people that are out there, you know, when it comes to consoles, it's like, I bought my game. I should be able to play it whenever and however I want. No, you bought a disc with the data on it. And if you look at the fine print around the outside of the disc, it says that, you know, that this disc is only representational of a license to play the game. That is it. So...
Anyway, that's a whole different. We're not opening that can of worms.
No, not today. Maybe next time. If you guys want to hear us talk about that, we can talk about it. But
let us know in the comments what you guys would like us to talk about next time. And I think that pretty much wraps it up. Just, you know, maybe we worked our way to a definition of what's okay, what's not okay when fan projects are done. I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that, Ben. You know, because it's something that I don't have a lot of experience with. So
yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah, fan projects are messy. Just because, like, you are taking, essentially, the property of another person or company and doing what you want to with it.
Yeah. And this doesn't just extend... This is not just game-related. There was a high-profile Power Rangers live-action short movie that got shut down. It was like 20 minutes long, and it was a super gritty Power Rangers.
Yeah. I think there was like a similar thing that happened with
Star Trek.
Oh, I was going to say like Mortal Kombat. There was something with that like a few years back or something, I think.
Mortal Kombat had a Machinima series.
Yeah,
but I don't know about the other one. What's interesting to me though is that like Star Wars actually doesn't ever do anything. Like, there's so many, like, Darth Maul lightsaber fights out there and stuff that like do some weird things with Darth Maul. Like, have you ever seen Mr. and Mrs. Sith?
No, I have not.
Highly recommend watching it. It's really good, but it's really weird.
But I mean, that right there, it sounds like it's a parody of Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
But it's definitely Darth Maul's character. Like,
sure,
it is,
but
which is weird.
Because it's a parody, it is covered by fair use.
Sure. But can you... But does fair use extend to using a different property?
Yep.
To what you're parodying?
Like, if I parodied, you know, like, if I made a parody song about, like, you know, Umbrella by Beyonce, I think, right?
Rihanna.
I don't know. Rihanna, whatever. Same thing. I don't know. I probably just pissed off a bunch of people.
Not the people that watch our videos.
Probably not. Anyways, so like if I made a parody of that using Halo like terms and all that kind of stuff, like I even recorded it machinima wise in a Halo game, I would be covered on all ends because it was a parody. It doesn't matter that like, oh, it's a parody of the song. I'm using the game to make a parody, so I still can't even get dinged by Microsoft for using Halo.
Okay, I got you.
Like, as long as it's a parody or a review or it's being used for educational purposes, like, I could use Halo to explain thermodynamics if I wanted to. And I could monetize that video and put it up on YouTube. If I found a way to do it and the information was accurate, I could do it. And claim
tune in this Friday for Ben's explanation of thermodynamics using Halo.
That will never happen.
Coming this Friday.
I don't know anything about thermodynamics.
That'll be Friday, May 4th, I believe.
No, it won't. It will not.
Friday, May 4th, guaranteed.
Friday, May 4th, you might see a Skyrim video about how to make it look next gen.
What? A mod?
Yeah.
Whoa.
You guys look forward to that.
Mod video?
Yeah.
Synergy between the podcast and Friday's video. What? What? Okay. Anyway, thank you guys for checking us out. If you enjoyed, subscribe for more videos. We release 4 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Yep. Podcasts are always on Mondays.
Yep. Every Monday. We're here.
Yep.
You're here. We might as well just all be here together.
Yeah.
Listening to podcasts.
Join the community. We talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And we're interested in your opinions, so
we love your opinions.
Yeah, if you disagree, let us know. Or if you agree, let us know.
Is there anything that... Yeah, anyway. We'll see you guys next time on Split Couch Games.
Bye.
Bye.